total naval blockade on Nicolas Maduro's fleet. Declaration of war or not by the United States of America against Venezuela? We already have international reactions to Donald Trump's latest move against Nicolas Maduro. We already have the plan, the roadmap of what could happen, of what might occur. Family, your likes and comments.
Dios.
Let's begin.
Oh!
Very good morning, world. Very good morning, Europe. Good evening, brothers from Latin America and friends from the United States. Oh my, well, an hour ago we were still in shock, thinking, talking, and rambling. Naval Blockade. I bring information now that I've had time to look up quickly. In 60 minutes, I've had time to set up a bit of the barricade we've got going here. I was already talking to Gaston, by the way. He sends his regards over the phone. We've been sharing impressions. Things are coming. Things are coming. Things that are actually happening right now. This is no longer the case.
Yes.
And for a while, to touch him. Nicolas Maduro's nails? Right now, the tracer radar is spinning, covering the entire northern area of Venezuela. The blockade has started. P-8 planes will likely join in. A few hours ago, we saw a P-8 arrive, along with others already there and more planes. And now this is going to turn into, I don't know, some kind of Hollywood movie, a naval blockade, Pirates of the Caribbean. And we're going to see it live right here. History notes, I'll show you a photo. I'm going to show you a couple of photographs. From that time period? From the Golden Age, let's call it that. Notes from the Golden Age, shall we call it that? Look at this photo. An armada carrying out a naval blockade. Ancient, very ancient. Take a look at this other photograph. German squadron off the coast of Venezuela. And pay attention to the details that will come up, that will pass before your eyes. History repeats itself. It's not the first time Venezuela has suffered a naval blockade. It's not the first time. It's not even the second. Look at this. Naval blockade from 1838 to 1839.
Wait.
Well, excuse me, haven't I told you? Can you leave your likes, your comments? Thank you very much, thank you. Subscribe and hit the bell for upcoming videos. Let's watch the video. Let's see this comment. This just touched my soul. This comment just hit me right in the heart.
Boom.
Look at this. Let's see where it is. Here it is. But which comment? Strategy, you have us, me or me, speechless because we shout with you, we start. I have my neighbors annoyed. I still don't know how they haven't come yet, but one of these days you'll see we're going to have to go do the live stream out in the middle of nowhere. Thank you so much, really, for that show of affection. Honestly, the whole "we start" thing has started. No, like that. Very unexpected. We have a message from Cuba. Cuba has already reacted to the issue of the blockade, but let's go step by step. Let's start first. Sometimes my "let's begin" comes out better, other times it comes out worse. It depends on whether I've had a Coke before starting the live stream or not, and it also depends on the temperature, because sometimes my throat is really sore. It's also true we do 3 live streams a day, and I just can't keep up anymore. It's odd we never lose our voices. All right. Let's begin with history and see what has happened. 1838 to 1839. France demanded, hey, why is it that every naval blockade against Venezuela is always because it owes money? France demanded compensation for damages suffered by French citizens during Venezuelan internal conflicts. This is key. French ships blockaded La Guaira and Puerto Cabello. Venezuela lacked enough naval force to respond. What a coincidence. It hasn't changed much, has it? History hasn't changed much from 1800 to now 2025.
25.
Naval blockade of 1858.
8.
Netherlands. Oh my God, also with the Netherlands. What's going on there? Tensions between Venezuela and Curacao, which was then a Dutch colony and still is, accused of supporting Venezuelan rebels. Key facts. Limited blockade of Venezuelan ports, diplomatic and commercial pressure. Result, bilateral agreements, reduction of foreign support to insurgents. Now let's move on to the Great Blockade. Well, what you're telling me...
This is just too much.
Hello, Estrategia. My 93-year-old mom was going to bed but returned when your show started. Greetings from Venezuela.
Hola.
A kiss for Veronica's mother at 93 years old. And grandson, he's also around here. He says, Hazmi. Basically, I used a word earlier that's apparently offensive in Venezuela, grandson. And since Maduro got the egg, I said if that's frowned upon, I'll just say Maduro got the banana. The United States, through social media, has just imposed a naval blockade on Nicolas Maduro's oil tankers. Now we'll discuss how the blockade could work, possible options, and potential outcomes. So welcome, Nieto, and greetings to you as well. Merci. 900 to 1900, 3 Germany, United Kingdom, and Italy.
Yeah.
What happened there? That's the photo. That's the photo. Venezuela, led by Cipriano Castro, stopped paying its foreign debt. Oh my God, in debt again? Countries, Germany, United Kingdom, Italy. Key events, blockade, bombings of La Guaira and Puerto Cabello ports, seizure of Venezuelan ships, halted foreign trade.
Exterior.
Outcome, United States diplomatic intervention, Washington protocols. 1903, Venezuela agreed to pay the debt, reaffirming the Monroe Doctrine and precedent for the Roswell Corollary. This was the most significant and famous naval blockade in Venezuelan history. In the 20th century, there was occasional foreign naval presence during political crises, but there have been no formal naval blockades after 1903 up to today. Up to today. 2025.
5.
2025.
5.
16 to 17 of 2025, depending on where we are, there's a naval blockade. Are CD-17 planes still arriving? It's wild what's coming into Puerto Rico. Me? This is escalating. Today. Also, there has been a private security session, that is, a private hearing with Marco Rubio and Pete. The congressmen and senators are very pleased with what they've heard, with what they've seen. They've said yes, that we have to go after Maduro. They must have some information, and they've been given some national security information in private, so it's clear that Maduro is going to leave or has to leave. And now we see that this isn't just for a while. They've been at it since 7 in the evening and it's already midnight going around. It's been hours, quite a few hours. So that's how things are. With the super chat goals open for anyone who wants to support this broadcast. Independent channel. We're fully independent and can say and share anything we want thanks to your support. Take a look at this. Always, Venezuela ended up paying, but today Venezuela has said that it will not pay, that it will not return. The companies that stole from the United States. All of this happened because during the time of Hugo Chavez, he took over oil exploitation companies. Chavez said he was going to nationalize them, and there was a huge crisis. The United States at that time didn't want to get involved in a war and let it go. Now things are different. Can the United States do it legally? And this is the question, what could we do? Is it legal under international law to impose a naval blockade on Venezuela?
No.
Well, we're going to look at this question here tonight or early morning on military strategies. And we're going to tell you all those details. But I would like to see Canel's reaction. Canel is clearly one of the most affected by this story.
Yeah.
The naval blockade targets not only Venezuela, but also Canel. What has Canel said? Well, I'm going to put it here. We firmly oppose the United States naval blockade of Venezuela.
No.
We firmly support President Nicolas Maduro, the Bolivarian and Chavista revolution, and its popular military union. We support the statement published by the Venezuelan government. But Canel doesn't mention military support for them. He doesn't have the capability.
Yeah.
We're still here tracking the radar, and there must be some interference right now. From electronic warfare radar. It's intense. Because look at the lines. It seems like it's a copy of Nicolas Maduro's heart rate monitor. This appears to be Maduro's heart. Something is about to happen to him. All right, let's look at the legal aspect of this story. I mean, let's see. What could happen? What could happen? A naval blockade is considered by international law to be an act of war if it is done unilaterally.
Literal.
If it is done unilaterally?
Literal.
If the United States unilaterally imposes a naval blockade,
Literal.
it's an act of war. 3 possible ways. 1. Authorization from the United Nations Security Council. There would have to be a United Nations Security Council resolution imposing a naval blockade on Venezuela for various reasons. In that case, the United States could participate in or enforce that resolution, which is unlikely because Russia and China could veto it, so we already know that's not going to happen. Unilateral blockade or quasi-blockade? Gray area. The United States could
Yeah.
establish a maritime interdiction zone, perform naval control, and create ship inspection areas. It wouldn't be called a blockade to avoid declaring war. Its legality is debated, but it's been used before. Do you know where? Year 1962.
162.
I bet you don't know where, do you? Cuba Island. It happened there. It was also used. Missile crisis. Thank you, blockade without clear international justification. So, are we discussing using force? Article 2.4 of the United Nations Charter, a hostile act that could legitimize reprisals, high political and diplomatic cost. This relationship we're in right now, what would it be like? This is important too. What would a naval blockade look like? There are no more cannon ships here, no more galleys or vessels going around bombarding La Guaira with cannons. War has changed, technology has changed. Could naval and air patrols be done in the Caribbean Sea or Gulf? Venezuela. Can oil tankers be stopped to search for sanctioned cargo, weapons, or other substances? One thing is clear. Venezuela depends on the sea to export crude oil. The United States can intercept the oil tankers. It has military capability. The United States can pressure insurance companies without hesitation so that they don't go to Venezuela.
No.
They can block ship-to-ship oil transfer operations. There's also another option, indirect blockade. Without closing the ports, can maritime insurance be withdrawn? Threats of secondary sanctions, ship blacklisting, and pressuring Panama, Colombia, Aruba, or Curacao to reject oil tankers. From Nicolas Maduro. That already happens nowadays. It's nothing new. It's not a novelty, so it's not a scenario I'm suggesting. Here we are talking about a military operation scenario, a launched military operation aimed at economically sinking Nicolas Maduro's regime. And this time it's for real. What does the United States need to carry out a naval blockade? What is necessary?
Yeah.
Well, let's see if we have the pieces. This is good, so those who claimed nothing was happening should take notice. Militarily, we need either aircraft carriers or amphibious landing groups in the Caribbean. We have 3 landing ships and 1 aircraft carrier, as well as naval patrol planes. P-8 Poseidon. We have a few. The support of regional allies, we have a few. Dominican Republic, Trinidad and Tobago, El Salvador, and a few more. Political justification.
Tika.
How can it be justified? By claiming drug or arms trafficking or Iran or Russia's presence.
Yeah.
We have the pieces, I believe we do. Look how we are marking right now what's happening. What can happen in Venezuela? Sharp drop in exports. Shortages of critical imports and increased use of illegal routes. Trying to evade the blockade. Can Venezuela take any military action? No. It can't. Now the United States just has to sit and wait. Now we just have to wait. We realize that, don't we? How is the situation right now? Even so, I comment and observe before launching a major military operation. Maria Corina and Edmundo should meet Trump. That meeting of deference and as an alliance should take place. So it doesn't seem like Donald Trump is just doing this for oil. I don't know, he says. Nito adds, there won't be gas in a few days. I don't know. I don't want to alarm people. I think this is more related to the issue of exports, that is, Venezuela's capacity to export abroad. But if chemical products don't arrive to process the oil, they won't be able to do it. Quiñones stated that F-18 jets will break the sound barrier over Caracas to intimidate people without firing missiles. If Cugnoni says so, I don't know anything. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. This is like taking a plane out for a spin and breaking the sound barrier over Caracas. Children's games are for children. This is something much bigger. This is something much bigger. Right now, the Iwo Jima is in Ponce. It's going to be there for 2 or 3 days. That doesn't mean that ship assault operations can't be carried out. In fact, there are 3 ships right now that are being tracked by the United States of America, and it's likely that in the next few hours, one of them will be boarded. We have the letter of intent from the United States. Now it's time to take the step. What is it? To launch an assault on someone? We already have those ships. Skipper, we already have it. A gigantic mega oil tanker? Now we have to go. After others. It must continue. Oil tankers are economically a very important support for Nicolas Maduro's regime. They use them to finance and pay for operations. Intelligence operations outside the country. For example, with money from Venezuelan oil. Can you pay for the political opinion of politicians in Europe? You can bail out companies like Plus Ultra. You can help other companies like Air Europa. You can carry suitcases of gold to other countries. Can you take oil to other countries? Maduro pays? He pays for his security in Cuba with oil. If he can't send it now, if he can't pay for it, what could happen? Says Carlos Fernandez. Don't make up strategies. Well, maybe it was just made up. They've seized an oil tanker, 333 meters long, heading to the United States, possibly Guantanamo. Where's it going, Skipper? Where are you, Skipper? Well, he's around there. He hasn't moved much. They took him and he's around there. They could put him in Guantanamo. Here's the Guantanamo naval base. They can put him there. Let Canel see it. Maybe that's made up, Carlos? Maybe. There are fighter jets patrolling right now. Near Venezuela. It's made up. It could be that it's made up. The strategy. I'm going to sue him. He doesn't let me sleep. Well, go ahead. I think I sleep just fine. Skipper's going to Houston. I don't know. Where is he going, Skipper? Well, from the ones I've identified, Hyperion is one that could be targeted for an attack. He's entering now through Trinidad and Tobago. He's heading to the San Jose refinery. Azure could be another one of them. It's north of Aruba. And it could also be Object. I think Simit Raji has the list, somewhere around there. I think he had sent it to us. And that it was interesting. We had Baixa Bianchi, Yare, Antilia, Phoenix, Apuex, Abril, Malak, Soldier, Azure, Lydia N, Santos, Premier Galaxy 3. Hyperion. No, Skipper isn't arriving at any United States port. It bothers me when you spread fake news. You sound like adults. Let's see where Skipper is. Last received position. Yesterday. 16 south of Haiti. It's not going to reach Houston, Texas, or wherever, or New Orleans, or Miami in 10 hours. Look, it's an oil tanker, not a speedboat, which is close to Cuba. I would take him there to Guantanamo. I would take him to Guantanamo. Even I'm going to sue. Are you making me nervous? There's no need to get nervous. This is just how it is. And where is Perion? Well, if Perion is there, they can rob him. Of course they can rob him. What option could Nicolas Maduro have? Honestly, could he put armed guards on the oil tankers? Well, if they want to face the Navy SEALs, I think they'd end up asking for political asylum in the United States. If they put soldiers on the oil tankers, I think they'd end up asking for political asylum when the SEALs show up. I think Maduro is lost. The trouble he's gotten himself into is very serious. Petro mentioned him. He told me, you know? He told me Gaston says, "Hey, look, Petro. Petro has talked about him and called him a dictator." What are you telling me? He says, yes. He says, look at him. He says, look at him, that he has uploaded a video. And he called him a dictator. I don't know where the video is. I don't know exactly where it is. But apparently he called him a dictator, Maduro. Why did Petro split from Maduro? Here it is. I have the post. Let's look at it. The Gulf Cartel, which has now been named a terrorist organization, must have told Petro to cut ties with Maduro because he's messing things up for all of us. I mean, Maduro just messed up the whole cartel business, all of them. Maduro is a dictator because he concentrates power. But there's no evidence in Colombia that he's a drug trafficker. That's just the narrative from the United States. Cass, the son of Nazi supporters, is part of the German generation that fled Germany, not to escape from Hitler, but to escape from Hitler's defeat, which is very, very different.
Okay.
His Siamese brother calls him a dictator. It seems like it's crazy. Siamese brother calls him a dictator. They're stabbing each other. The other day, Maduro said that all the white powder is produced in Colombia. But then he said it's not Petro's fault, but then he says it is Petro's fault, and now Petro calls him a dictator. Is Petro upset because Maduro sent the National Liberation Army?
ELN.
The guerrilla, those traffickers, to create problems? That also gets interesting.
Okay.
Very interesting strategies. Even the Communist Party of Venezuela called Maduro a dictator who kidnaps people. And I've seen that video. I don't know Coco well or much about Venezuela's internal politics. My focus is more on military, geopolitical, and geostrategic aspects. I don't know much about that yet. I don't have much reference for that. But I suppose that when the regime is about to fall, secondary players will appear who want to take part in the future. I think the Communist Party of Venezuela will want to participate in a future without Maduro, and now they will be trying to disconnect ties and links with him. On social media, the sycophants, the United States blocking Venezuela militarily is an act of war. Acts of war responded to militarily. Supporters of the United States act of war will be considered enemies. Regardless of their freedom, the conditions have changed. Careful, okay? They'll see us all as enemies.
Careful.
People are seeing UFOs over La Guaira. Of course, everyone is looking at the sky, so now any light they see, this in the United States. And here, there's something that just won't stop. My interpretation of why the tracer's there? What's there? Well, because I think, let's see, you only send up that plane to monitor with the radar. To direct operations or help as a liaison for operations. If Tracer is present, the plane belongs to the United States ship. Gerald Ford, excuse me. The Truman is Nimitz class, Gerald Ford is Gerald Ford class. The Gerald Ford's plane is there. To keep watch, and if it's there now permanently, it's because something is about to start. So you need to have air control. Which means that air control has to be maintained 24 hours a day. It doesn't seem strange to me that a P-8 plane was already patrolling and tracking a ship to intercept it.
What did Maduro say today?
Do you have plans for January? Does anyone think Maduro will make it to January? I don't think so. This was what Delcy was doing. And Diosdado, who looked like he went crazy when he read it, when they handed him the phone so he could read it. Did you see it live? We watched it last show. If not, watch it. It's 4 hours, but you can break it up. Treat it as part 1, 2, and 3. Look at how I was reading the phones. Look, Delcy.
I'm calling for January at an early date. Activate all the power of the nation in a powerful Bolivarian Congress of the constituent power originating from the power of the people of Venezuela. And for that, I will issue a special presidential decree in the next few hours.
Special presidential decree for what? It's not clear to me. Let's see.
Calling upon all the power of the nation to a powerful Bolivarian Congress from the constituent power originating from the power of the people.
That's how I feel. I have the feeling that he's going to make it official.
Yeah.
That is, that there will no longer be a political option.
Go.
Officially in Venezuela.
No.
There isn't one unofficially either, because everyone from opposition parties is persecuted by Nicolas Maduro. I think his intention now is to turn the revolution into something even more aggressive, much more dangerous. To drive people to madness and discord and provoke a conflict of catastrophic magnitude for the whole country. The United States has to move quickly. We can't reach that point. We shouldn't reach that point if we want to prevent this from spreading. If we don't want Maduro to become a bigger problem for us. The thing with the ships is fine, but we're going to have to do something more. What else are we going to do? Careful, the naval blockade has nothing to do with the ground operation. Ground attack targets are already marked. The United States knows this and can decide within hours. Present it to Congress, present it to the senators, the upper house, or the lower house. Set up the meeting with Maria Corina and Edmundo. Explain to them what is going to happen in Venezuela. And form a joint working group to rebuild Venezuela after Nicolas Maduro leaves. Thank you, but the issue of ships for the United States is also important. With that oil, with those barrels that will remain, can the military operation be financed? I've told you, and I'll say it again. By the way, it seems that today we've been out hunting. In the Ecuador area. These planes keeping watch. The members of the Gulf cartel are really pissed off with Nicolas Maduro right now. Even his own cartel members are very angry with Nicolas Maduro because he chose the path of going after dissidents, making people leave the country, making too much noise, drawing too much attention. And now everyone is paying for it. Because of Nicolas Maduro. They could have kept a much lower profile, kept trafficking, not getting into trouble or making statements threatening the United States. And things would have gone well with difficulties, but as always, getting by. What criminal doesn't have to hide? None? So, and it's true, or very likely, or very possible, that the United States now has to speed up. That's why maybe we're seeing them arrive continuously and without stopping. South Carolina, 17S went to Puerto Rico. It's more than likely. We'll have to wait for the next few hours. To understand the full scope of this story, if the United States plans to launch the blockade completely, if they're going to close the Gulf of Venezuela, if the list of sanctioned ships will be expanded, or if this will target only ships leaving Venezuela with oil not bound for the United States. That's right. It's a complicated topic. I don't know what you all think in the chat. Let me check your super chat. What are you thinking about this? Because there's a lot more here than we think. Arriving in Ponce, a helicopter, and Hercules. You are around here, helicopters and Hercules. Second, it hasn't loaded. That's fine. It's a complicated matter. Naval Blockade, we have to mobilize a lot. We also want total chaos, says Eduardo. Man, ships are not going to sink. They're not going to fill up that oil thing. We're going to do it. The only option I see for Nicolas Maduro is to put armed guards on the ships. Bolivarian seeds. Give them snacks for a week, a couple of jugs of water, and have them make noise. I don't know. Or putting civilians on the ships. Maybe now they're going to put civilians on the oil tankers. Are they going to put civilians on board so the Sahels don't attack them? I don't know. It could be an option. Yeah. But it's complicated. It's very complicated. So let's see what's going to happen, what's going to occur. There's a blockade. Let's see how it's going to be carried out. Today is going to be an important day. They set it for 24 hours. Let's see what happens and if Maduro makes it to Christmas. He says, no, don't give them ideas. Don't give them ideas. Do you think so? No, really put your hand on your chest and think and say and answer. Do you think the United States is going to be stopped from taking an oil tanker? Come here. Bolivarian militiamen? No. No, I mean, that's not it. I also need to mention what Venezuela can do and consider both sides of the conflict. I have to look at the military option of the United States, which I know what it is, and the military option of Venezuela, which we also know what it is. And it's very limited. It can't do more. They can't export ships to Cuba. They don't have naval capacity. Their surface ships are very old, and some have sunk due to their poor practices, meaning they don't know how to use them. Some were bought in Spain. Also, they have no punch. They have nothing in surface warfare. Doesn't Nicolas Maduro get this through his head? Let's see what they come up with. They'll invent something, maybe with drones or strange stories. Family, I'm going to get some rest because I think things are going to happen and I need to be ready for whatever comes. The story continues there.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. You have to keep watching. But we're close. It's getting closer and closer. See you next episode on military strategies. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Incredible shows tonight, over 5 hours live. So you can watch and understand everything that's happening, leave your like, your comment, and subscribe. Greetings.